Yes. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Good evening, you all. And today is another beautiful topic that is in conceptual photography. Abhijit sir, who is having more than 15 years of experience in various fields, especially in filmmaking and editing. So he will conduct today's session. He will guide you. So be patient and just attend the seminar. And at the end of that, if you have any queries, so you can ask him or write a mail to him directly. Okay. And Abhijit sir, over to you. You can start.
Thank you, Anurag.
Yeah.
So
welcome.
I am audible, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Just a second. So today's topic is conceptual photography. So this is a very interesting topic, and we will love to was the examples and the tips and tricks and all. We will discuss about the tips and tricks, histories and the types and all. So this is very interesting. I hope you will like it. Okay, so let's start the session. So just wait. So as we know, we live in an age of concepts and images. So considered images in magazines, we have seen we lots of magazines, lots of images we see here and there. Now we have internets. Okay, in social medias also we watch so many things and advertisements also. So in everywhere we see that the images actually attempts to sell that sell as a concept means they want to sell as a concept car, suppose. Okay. So our celebrities and politicians means worry about how visuals in the media convey, means even in politics also you will find that lots of advertisement comes up at the time of polling. Okay, so here what people often refer to as their image is actually the concept. Okay, so the word concept and image sometimes seem almost interchangeable, but this is because the visuals image provides a powerful pathway for the expression of a concept, Okay, so photographs are particularly effective. A picture is worth, as we know, a picture is worth 1,000 words, which means a variety of ideas can be condensed into a single photo. Okay, because we are capturing a moment, the moment. Photographs also offer a seemingly more real, tangible depiction. I am not comparing with any other forms of art, but if you see that these paintings and all, photographs gives us much realistic nature into it. Okay. Otherwise, it may be abstract also. It may be abstract, means that is not reality, but you can break the reality and make some abstract art from it. Okay, so these are used into it. So first, before we move into that conceptual photographies and histories and all, we need to learn about what concept is. What do you mean by this word concept? Okay, so what is concept anyway? So if you go through the dictionary will tell you that that it's a generalized idea of a thing or a class of things, but it's an abstract thought in the human mind rather than a concrete, tangible entity in the physical world. The thing that you are sitting on right now is the particular thing that you are sitting on. That is the chair. Suppose the chair is the concept. Suppose you are sitting right now in a chair. So chair is the concept that we apply to it, and all things with a similar appearance and functions. So I will give you one example. So let's go through one example rather than this PPT. Before we move into this PPT, I just want to show you one thing. Just a second. Yes. So you go through this image properly and you will understand. And this is the concept actually. You see, you can see that this is the work by Joseph Kasut. Joseph Kasut is a means renowned artist, much acclaimed artist in the world. So Joseph Kasut, you will search the after the session, you can go through the works of the Joseph Kasut and search in the internet and watch it. Okay, what is this? Now, this work is actually called the chair 1 and 3 chairs. 1 and 3 chairs. So the conceptual artist Joseph Kasut presented a typed out definition of the word chair. Okay, so here is the definitions you can find. A seat with a back and open arms, usually for one person, a seat of office or authenticity. So he has presented this in this form. In this form, a photograph of a chair, a definition, and the actual physical chair. Here it is. This one is the photograph, this one is the actual chair, and this one is the definition. Okay, so the type definition, so this one is the typed. This is the concept of the chair that is constructed with words and language. With words and language. So which is how the mind often actually concepts. Now, what about the photograph? What about the photograph? You will say this one is the photograph. What about this photograph? Is that an image or a concept? Or also this one is also a concept. So psychology definitely talk about visual as well as verbal concept formation. Conceptual thinking can operate through visualizations also. Even though a photograph is a representation of a particular thing rather than a generalized idea about things, it isn't that particular physical thing itself. It isn't a particular physical thing itself. Remember it. We are capturing the physical thing, but that is not a physical thing. Photograph. Okay. So you can sit in a photograph of a chair. You can't sit it. Can you? No. You cannot sit in a photograph of a chair, but you can sit in this chair. This is the original real chair, right? So we could prefer, we could therefore argue that a shot of a chair or anything is a very simple form of conceptual photography. So this one is very simple. Many persons actually tells, conceptual photography is not actually an art. This is very easy. This is an abstract form of art. This is very easy things. Anybody can do it. Means you can draw a line. You can just place a color and you can say this one is a conceptual art. Okay, or a conceptual photography. Because why we are arguing about this? Because this is a very simple form of concept. Because this is a very simple form of conceptual photography. Because it is not actual thing, but a representation of that thing. Representation of this physical chair. A representation that has been taken away from an abstract, from the real world. Abstracted. Okay, so of course, a shot of a chair to express the idea of chair isn't terribly interesting. Definitely, it is not as interesting as you are thinking. I am giving lecture on art, but if I do not give any lecture in art, if you set aside, you will say, oh, what is this? This is nothing. Just put an installation of this chair. Is put it that installation, and they are saying, oh, this is an art. Okay, but this is not the thing. We'll explain it. We also could easily get down to that theoretical debates whether an image of a chair really is a concept or not. So there are a lot of things that happens in art histories and all. Okay, those who are involved with the fine arts definitely knows if they studies about some of the movements and all. Okay, so that is not our purpose actually to go down to that arguments and all. We do not have that time also. Instead, what we would like to emphasize here is much more practical and down to earth. So Kasut's work shows us that words, images, and the real things, these three things combined, they represent all are intertwined in conceptual photography, as we will see later in this article, in this form. Okay, and learn how to work with the images, words, and later when we will go for this PPTs, we'll learn about that, how it moves actually. It actually, how that actually concepts develops into a beautiful form of art in photography also, or in fine arts also. That is also called the photography, fine art photography. Okay. So the image here, the image in particular here plays a pivotal role in mediating that intersection of that language and the physical reality. Otherwise, anybody would say, no, hey, these things can be done by a 5-year kid also. You can easily splash a color, or you can just put a line into it. It can be done. Yes. So there are lots of means controversies regarding this. There are lots of arguments for and against it, these things. So we'll learn about these things. But today's agenda is to get the basic idea of what conceptual photography and what conceptual art is actually. Okay, we'll learn about these things. So it started from the how it started. So let's go back to that PPT. Just a second. So what is conceptual art? So conceptual art is the art that is a movement actually that emerged in 1960s. In 1960s, there was a movement of conceptual art. Some abstract kind of art actually came. You can see the pictures here, how it represents. These are all not the photographs. These are all the paintings actually. Okay, this is an idea or concept behind more than the finished art object. So it emerged as an art movement. It emerged as an art. Remember, it emerged as an art movement in the 1960s. And the term usually refers to art made from the 1960s to the 1970s. This kind of art was made at that period. Okay, so this was not so much old, but the idea was developed much more earlier. Now we have got the modern form of contemporary art. We have that contemporary art, and to define that contemporary art, we can go for these Durga Puja pandals and theme pujas. You will get to see lots and lots of visual arts and art installation. So there you can see the display of this kind of conceptual arts and all, and contemporary arts. Okay, so now conceptual art, though it do not have any kind of intrinsic or financial values, can deliver a powerful message also. It can deliver a powerful message. Look at this image. So all eyes on that person, all eyes on the girl. Okay, it can deliver a message. You can deliver a social message also. Okay, and thus it can serve as a main tool for socio-political comment. Not going for any kind of replications of any kind of architecture or something like this, like traditional forms of art. So this is the kind of modern kind of art that actually came to us. And this one is actually called the conceptual art. So ideas behind this form of visual art was explored by I think you may heard the name of Marcel Duchamp. Okay, so he is actually called the father of conceptual art. So Marcel Duchamp is a renowned artist. So you can go through that, because surrealism also was, dream sequences was also another source of inspiration for early conceptualization and conceptual art. Conceptual art is also about ideas and meanings. What conceptual art can do, what conceptual art is about ideas and meaning rather than works of art like paintings, sculptures, and other forms of arts. It is characterized by its text as well as imagery, means image forms, and with variety of other materials. You can make it to the everyday use of materials, everyday, whatever you are finding in front of you. Okay, so it may be installation art also, it may be performance art also, it may be projections also, it may be, you can use also sound also. in this conceptual art. Okay, contemporary media, as we say, that contemporary media uses computers also. Okay, you can use the graphics also, modern means computer graphics also, CG graphics also. So this is an artistic revolutions that came to us against the means traditional forms of art and creative limitations by the modern art. So traditionals, from the getting out from the traditional values and applying something new from the ideas of it, from whatever you are thinking, you can present it into that art. That is actually the conceptual art. Now, what conceptual photography is? So this is called in popularly, this is called as a type of fine art photography. It aims to express ideas and concepts through photos. Conceptual photography is derived from conceptual art. What makes conceptual art so delightfully uncommon is that every photo presented is more than merely a nice piece of work. It is always more than just a scenery, portrait, a bowl of fruits, means still life, or a wrinkled face of an old man or an old woman. Each conceptual photo illustrates the idea. You are putting some message, you are putting some meaning into it. It is the exploration of idea and human experiences. And what it is? A personal, a poetic narrative. It is a poetic narrative. Okay. So how we will develop it and how we will polish it and what are the techniques and tips and tricks, we will learn about it later on. But before that, we need to go through the things, what we are going to explain here and what we are going to discuss over there. So what is conceptual photography used for? It is used for advertising. It is used for abstractions, something different from the realistic pattern, and for social commentary also. Now, how this actually can be explained? We'll go for some of the images later on, and you can easily understand how this actually works. Now, what is the history of this conceptual photography? Conceptual photography derived from the movement of 1960s and 70s. Conceptual art emphasizes the importance of an idea or concept of a technique and aesthetics, largely used to express the abstract with physical materials. Okay, photographers took part in this concept. So at that time, although the practice of staging photographs, you can stage the photographs, means that is, you can stage the photograph, is as old as the invention of the camera. Staging photographs, posing for the photographs is as old. This is a very old thing. This is not a new thing. But 1960s and 70s is not old enough, right? So this is just around 50 years back, 50 to 60 years back. Okay, so this is not old enough. So this creates an abstract ideas. So it is an art that has been around for as long as people have been making art. But we have not brought it in front of it. We have not explained it in that way. Some renowned photographers have not applied in many of the photographs, or you can say in many of the paintings also. But in the last 10 years, we are talking about it means hugely, actually. We started talking about it in the last 10 years or so. Conceptual art, conceptual photography, everything. Okay. So though the term conceptual photography derives from conceptual art, a movement of the late 1960s, however, there have been illustrative photographs made since the medium's invention. For example, in the earliest stage photograph, such as Hippolyte Baird's self-portrait as a drowned man, 1840. Look at that. The movement started from 1960, but the first staged photograph, earliest stage photograph for the conceptual photography came into that 1840. So it is very old thing, but it has not come forward, right? So this one is the photograph, Hippolyte Baird's self-portrait as a drowned man. Okay, so this is completely staged and photographed in 1840. Then there is another. This painting, this photograph, this photograph is very interesting actually. So Leap into the Void. This is very famous photograph. Many people also researched how they have shot it. There is no rope and nothing has been used. How they have captured that image in 1960. Okay, it's like almost it's floating, almost dived really dived, how they have captured it. Nobody knows it. Okay, you can get lots and lots of articles about this leap into the void by Yves Klein. Okay, so it is regarded as one of the earliest conceptual photographs and a pivotal work in the progress of photography. This kind of photographs actually attracts us. This kind of photographs really actually inspires us to adapt to the field to that of photography. This gives us the motivation. So while it can be difficult to define conceptual photography, Leap into the Void has all the elements that modern conceptual photographs still hold today. It is staged, it elicits emotions. Conceptual art, conceptual photography always tries to hit your emotions, and it will always try to evoke your emotions. Okay, and has provoked conversation for decades after its creation, both about how it was taken and what it means. Nobody knows. It has not been explained by the artist or by the photographer. Okay, now everybody perceives it in a different way. Now, this is very important for any kind of art. Now, the types of conceptual photography, as we have told, for advertising, abstractions, and that social commentary. So look at this image. This image, Tabasco, is actually ketchup company. Okay, so this ketchup, this ketchup is so hot, chili sauce, hot sauce. Okay, pepper sauce. So this is so hot that it represents a fire extinguisher. This is conceptual photography. Okay, so advertising has one specific goal: to sell an idea. Ideas may be meant to sell a product, service, or even deter consumers from specific products also. Whatever it may be, but advertising aims to persuade you to buy that product, to use that product. But this often can be a difficult task in advertisements that utilizes still images, because by still images, I am getting only one frame to means convince you. So conceptual photography is a common technique to illustrate a whole sales pitch into one photograph. So here it is. In this ad by Tabasco, you can see they needed to convey the hotness of their hot sauce in one image to entice a consumer to buy. How hot it is? That if somebody consumes it, then it requires that fire extinguisher to douse that hot spicy effect. So this one is an idea. This concept-based photography was used to create the idea by combining the bottle with a fire extinguisher. Okay, next, it gives us a no smoking ad, anti-smoking. You can see that there is a coffin behind it. Okay, and there is a message: a warm welcome today. So everybody knows that smoking kills. So this one is a concept. So advertising for advertising, this concept photography plays a very important role. Okay, so of course, not all ads are designed to sell you a product or service. Some are designed to prevent you from consuming a specific product. Anti-smoking ads have taken full advantage of conceptual photography. Ideas to illustrate the concepts of smoking kills in various ways. Okay, even you can see the advertisements of video advertisements also, right? So as you can see, even advertising concept can be a big and difficult to communicate. So conceptual photographers use advertisement to be simple yet effective at communicating a message to a consumer. This type of photography makes it possible to illustrate an entire sales concept in a single image to be used in a magazine or on a billboard. So this affects whenever somebody sees it, somebody thinks about it. Okay. Now abstraction. Some internal states, some internal pains can be emotions, can be illustrated by the use of these abstractions. Okay, blind with anger. So whenever somebody is very angry, he or she cannot see anything actually. So this happens to us. Okay. So one of the challenges many artists face is expressing the internal experience they have within in an external way. So there may be angers, there may be lust, there may be desires, there may be many emotions into it. Conceptual photography has been used as a canvas to express this internal states in creative ways. In creative ways. So any kind of protest, you can see the social protests are there. You can find that many kind of abstractions are used over there. Whether you are trying to express a specific anxiety, joy, or internal conflict, the ability to stage a scene for a photograph can result incredibly creative ways to portray the abstract. So this is the abstraction. Oftentimes, conceptual photography that reflects the internal state of an artist is designed to be provocative and elicit emotions. Remember these things. So many times you will find this word emotions. Okay, so it evokes emotions. It can also be intense for a viewer seeing emotions they have expressed in such an accurate way. An artist can present it in this way. This one is for the social commentary. Social commentary. This is a conceptual photograph by a renowned photographer, Indian photographer, that is Prasad Nayak. Okay. So Prasad Nayak used this kind of barcodes to define that human beings are consumerized. Okay. So art in general is one of the primary ways human beings create social commentary. Photographers specifically express their thoughts on society through conceptual photographs. Whether it is a comment on a state of politics, technology, or general social behavior, these ideas have been creatively expressed by conceptual photography. For example, what is this image by conceptual photographer Prasad Nayak saying about consumerism? Everything can be sellable. The projection of the barcode on the subject cast a shadow similar to a jail cell, reflecting how humans can be captive to consumerism. We are bound by this, we are binded by this consumerism things. Okay, it is not new for artists to be frustrated with societal behavior. Conceptual photography is just another way for artists to express the frustrations and thoughts. Remember, this is very important thing. Yeah, and this is very important photography. This is not tough, but you need to create this idea. So what are the tips and tricks that you need to remember while going for this kind of conceptual photography? Conceptual photography. So these are some of the tricks. Conceptual photography is a field that fascinates and frustrates photographers in equal measures, whether it's about the skills required to compose a shot or coming up with a clever concept. It can be challenging to master this art. So let's help you develop an eye for composition with some few useful tips. So how you can create this kind of conceptual photographs. So first, you have to develop the concept. It all starts with an idea, with your idea. Think about what you are trying to say in your photograph and let the ideas flow. Inspiration could come from issues and events that move you, from the political to the personal, as you translate your thoughts into a captivating photo. You can see that this is simply a light that represents the other side. You can easily convey this kind of message to the use of this kind of photograph, this kind of compositions. So you need to develop this concept. So besides illustrating the idea through images, conceptual photography requires one to think deeper and more creatively when constructing an image. Think of it as if you are exploring the interior, means a landscape of your mind. What possible ways can you present an idea through photography? Will a juxtaposition between an euphoria things or survival tell a good story of the existence of dualism? Something like this, you need to think it. Or a person suspended in midair shows how one is torn between two worlds. Somebody is floating. We will discuss later on. Levitate. Okay, does an empty, foggy road with an age-old tree. Okay, this kind of images we actually see it. You need to create this one. You need to think about these things. Okay, so this next we have this symbols and props. We need to use this kind of symbols. We need to use some symbols and props to develop the concepts. Always keep an open mind, because sometimes it's the thing that around you that provide the inspiration. Sometimes a water bottle can also provide you the inspiration. So once an idea is formed in your head, you have to work on it, and you'll be working with. Here, the originality is the key. You do not need to copy it somewhere. You need to keep it original. Use your cleverness, use your imaginations, and then you shoot this one. They like this one, Strange Apple. Okay. You can use a Photoshop also, no matter in it. It does not matter. You need to capture it through the camera. Okay. So it comes about the composition. You need to think about this concept, composition. This is why that conceptual photographers get to showcase their personal style. Okay. So this one is neglected. That person is sitting alone here. Okay. While most prefer to keep their composition simple, clean imagery with blank backgrounds, some push the boundaries with photos filled with people, objects, and symbols, all presenting different concepts that intermix to form complex conceptual landscapes. Okay, it can be developed. Now, getting to the technical, we are free. Look at this. So this is the photograph. Okay. So since the focus of this type of photography is the concept, it is much easier for amateur photographers to get into it. Amateur photographers, those who are not professional writers, those who have started photography, can easily get into this, because there is no, means you do not have to maintain that exposure triangle, you do not have to maintain that ISOs, do not have to maintain the setting, just you need to capture your idea. Okay, you need to capture your idea. It may be overexposed, it may be out of focus, it does not matter, but you need to express your ideas over here. And you should know what you are doing, what you are expressing actually. Knowing how to cheat with the f-stops. Okay, you need to know how to cheat with this f-stops, and manual focus will also come in handy when shooting some small objects. Lighting is a crucial as ever. Definitely in photography, lighting plays a very important role, especially for indoor shoots, to control highlights and shadows. Highlighted portions means where there is much more white lights. Okay, white portions are there. So this photograph, the use of these photographs, you can easily understand how this kind of images can be captured. Please mute yourself. Whoever is talking, please mute. Okay, now coming to the aesthetics. So definitely we know that beauty always draws everyone, subconsciously or unknowingly. Your viewer will find a beautiful object more attractive than if it was presented in an ugly way. However, beauty alone cannot replace it. You can use this kind of flower objects like this to make any kind of images looks beautiful. Okay, with good compositions when it involves conceptual photographs. If your concept calls for the viewer to see the beauty in ugly, then deliberately ugly images could be employed to good effect. You can create this kind of effect, and you can make it much more beautiful. And another thing you should remember, that you should also work onto that emotions. You need to find the emotions in the images also. Okay, if you are able to create a striking, emotionally engaging and provocative photograph, then you have achieved your purpose. You need to shoot that happiness, joy, sorrow, desires, despair, everything. You can capture this. So that can actually, like a silhouette of a couple bringing out a romanticism on dusk or in the sea beach. Okay, so this can give a conceptual forms of art. This can gives us a conceptual form of art. And lastly, you need to know that you need to tell a story. Definitely, everywhere in every thing you need to tell a story. Though this is the main thing. So unlike cinematography and photography works in still images, so telling an entire story through a still image can be challenging. Definitely, in one image to tell a story, it's very challenging. But conceptual photography allows photographers to use anything at their disposal to illustrate a story within a single image. in this photo series, this one is a photo series by Marza Pirilla titled Interior Exterior. From that interior exterior photo series, this image is called the camera obscura. Dreams, rooms are converted into a camera obscura. This effectively allowed her to capture the interior of the room and the exterior simultaneously. So Pirilla brilliantly used this effect to conceptualize a child having a dream. The result here you can see that holds immense storytelling power. You see this one is an upside down. So in dreams, it do not form some realism into it. It gives us surreal things. It gives us something out of the world. So they have upside downs and camera obscura. In camera obscura, you have seen that, that the images goes upside down over there. So whenever it passes through that hole and into that box, it creates an upside down image. Okay. And these are some of the examples. So I will put some of the many of the examples into it so that you can get an idea, a clear idea how this conceptual art form actually works. So you need to care about these backgrounds also. So backgrounds are often used to complement a subject or to make it stand out. You know, to take care of the background, you can use this kind of backgrounds to tell a story. This kind of to point at your subject, literally point at your subjects also. You can use this kind of backgrounds also. This one is a graffiti, wall graffiti. So this wall graffiti has been presented in this way that wings, it has wings. It looks like it has wings. You can compose it this way. Okay. So this one is also so you need to make your background interact with your subject. So background is also very, very important, and subject is also important. So you need to interact. You need to have a connection between that subject and the background. Okay. Here also you can find this kind of everyday objects. These objects are available means in our home. You do not have to means go outside to collect it. So you can easily find it. This photo, you can see that the purple background, an eggshell, and a dill. Dill is a kind of herb actually. This is kind of herb. Okay, so this could symbolize a growing tree finding strength in empty places. So this one is an empty place. Okay, a growing tree finding strength in an empty place. So this kind of meanings can be created through this kind of images. You can find some everyday objects in your home to compose images like this also. You can put your cups and saucers to use this kind of effects, flower effects like this. Okay, so you can creatively use it. Then you can go for this kind of image also, everyday images. So this green, the simple use of green paint actually symbolizes that the person is green fingered, means they have a natural gardening ability. Somebody has natural gardening ability. Okay, so this kind of symbolism can be used over there. And you can take photos in water also to create a dramatic effect for the conceptual photography. You can take photos underwater because underwater or water actually are dramatic and emotional. So this makes water the perfect subject for conceptual portrait. So you can what you can do, take surreal photos on a gloomy day when there is cloudy, like today you have that there is no clear sun into it. Have a shot on the beach during the golden hour is the time before half an hour before or 1 hour before that sundown. So that is the beautiful time on which you will get that light. Okay, so at that time you can shoot it. Magic hour we can also say. So give underwater photography also a try. Underwater photography also plays an important role. Like now you have many devices and many approach waterproof covers also to cover the also cases also to cover your phone cameras and DSLRs also. You can put it and experiment it like this, but be very careful while doing this underwater photography. Okay, now if you do not have any beaches or something like this, you say no, there is no beach, I cannot go there. So they took photos. You can take photos in bathtub also or in running water also. You can use this kind of effects also. Okay, so you can use colors also over here in the bathtub water also. The very simple techniques. Okay, you can use childhood dreams to recreate your childhood dreams for a sense of nostalgia. Like you can make it in a paper also, this boat. Okay, you can design it or you can place it in Photoshop also in background, conceptual photography. Okay, so childhood dreams, it can be abstraction also, conceptual artist. Mm. So here the image has been edited so that the sailboat, sailboat almost appears to be floating in the sky. So floating in the sky. This creates a beautiful dreamlike scene. Okay. Here also you can find that you don't need to use fancy equipments also sometimes to recreate dreams. It can be very, very simple. This photo is the perfect example, yet nostalgic. Okay. So this can give a sense of nostalgia regarding this childhood dreams. Okay. Share your perception of time with others also. This one is also perception of time. So what does time mean to you? Or does it feel like never ending waterfall, or does it move slowly? Everyone's perception of time is different. So time is a very beautiful thing for photography, the subject of photography. Here you can also use this image, actually shows that the sand falling from between their fingers. So this can show time slipping through their hands. Okay, this can mean that time slipping through the hands. So this also creates some kind of surreal image. You can use a piece of glass also. So this one is a piece of glass to recreate a surrealism reflections. So reflections are perfect for conceptual art portraits. And in many of the conceptual photography ideas, you will find that the reflection plays a very important role in it. Okay, appearance versus personality. So here it creates that appearance versus personality, and many other important topics also it can be created. Any kind of reflective material will work for this challenge. You can use a regular mirror or a body of water also. You can use the water also for the reflections. You can use Photoshop also to create this kind of portraits. Some conceptual portraits are mysterious and moody. They often feature people whose faces are hidden by objects or paint-like substances like this. Partly hidden faces can make a concept seem more relatable. Sometimes anonymity can make it easier for someone to relate to your story. You can create this in your editing software also by using brush, textures, and other tools. Okay, you can create this kind of effect by using the Photoshop software or like Photoshop software. You can use motion blur also to create surreal photos. So motion blur is a popular technique. Anyone with a camera can experiment it. Anyone with the right kind of blur will make your photos look very, very scary and confusing. So you can move your camera as you press the shutter, or have your model move around while like this, while your camera is on a tripod. So this can give you a ghosting effect. Okay, and this creates a surreal effect into it. You can also use the camera panning. So this one is a camera panning. This one is a camera panning that is moving forward. This involves moving your camera in the direction your subject is moving. Okay, so this creates a blurred looking images. First blur. This one is the first blur that has been used here. You can use levitate. Levitate means something that is floating actually. Okay, something that is floating. So you can see some magical powers or something like this, and magical things, everything floats in the air. So gravityless. So you can create this kind of effects also. This is very important. This is a very beautiful composition. Okay, we can combine levitation and conceptual photography to create beautiful fantasy themed photos. Okay, levitating items can represent the magic of stories, such as the Mad Hatter's Tea Party in Alice in Wonderland. Here it has been recreated by an artist, by a photographer. Okay, you can create this kind of effect. You can practice this kind of effect. Levitating, as I've said, this is a floating things. So levitating people can symbolize inner peace or yearning for adventure. Use levitation to emphasize your love for an object. It can be anything from a specific kind of food to your favorite positions also. Okay, so this kind of effects can be, the beautiful images can be created by using this levitating techniques. Okay, loneliness can be conceptualized by these conceptual photographers, conceptual photography techniques. So self-portraiture is a great way to express your feelings without using words. Try to define loneliness using your own experiences with it. Uh, so do you associate loneliness with empty rooms or crowded places? You can easily, you need to means finalize it, and you need to look into it, how you will want to shoot it. You can also create loneliness in a crowd also by focusing on to you only and out of focusing the other persons. So focus in and out of focus, and out focus, you need to concentrate on these two things. Okay. Or you can use this kind of empty rooms with this kind of projections. Okay. And here this person is sitting, and it can easily means anybody can tell okay, this person is very lonely, and nothing is running into it, he is feeling very bored. Okay. So though loneliness has a negative connotation, so negative, it has a negative means approach into it. It can be a source of joy for some people also. Somebody enjoys this loneliness. Somebody feels very joyful when they become lonely. Okay. So they do not want to be in the crowd. So whatever your answer is, use it as an inspiration for your next conceptual photo shoot. Okay, you can use it like this also. Not always you have to come up with your own ideas. Sometimes all you have to do is go out and photograph your surroundings. You can find this kind of things in your surroundings. You just find it out. If you get anything into it, you just capture it. Nowadays it's very easy that you do not have to carry the camera with you, because you are always carrying your camera with your smartphones. Okay, so whenever you see this kind of images, you try to capture that object and try to capture that frame and keep it with you. So that will be a very good collection for you, and later on that can be a very good hobby for you also. Look for concepts outdoors also. Take the time to explore your areas. You might find unusual building, this kind of things, right? Look at this. This one is an architecture. Okay, so this kind of landscapes, this kinds of architecture you can find, unusual buildings, landscapes, or vehicles, you can find it. So this could be the starts for your next conceptual piece. So this looks very beautiful into it. Use costumes to create conceptual portraits also. You can use costumes also. You can use costumes means not means too much of costly costumes. You can easily get it. Unusual costumes like astronaut costumes, masks, and bizarre hats can turn a simple portrait into a surreal work of art. Okay, you can use an astronaut helmet to represent loneliness, isolations, because astronauts are lonely. Okay, they do not stay in crowd. Okay, they do not, because their nature of work actually has to work with their own. They are very lonely in that. You can present it in this way, or enjoying one's own world. You can use the fancy costumes also. And fancy costumes, you might find it easier to emphasize your ideas. You can use fairy costume to create a surreal and imaginative world like this. So these are all conceptual portraits. You can take conceptual photographs of that kids also around you. So this one is a toy aeroplane. This one is a toy wooden aeroplane actually. Okay, so clever concept. This one is a very clever concept actually. This photo might represent the child's desire to become a pilot. It could also be a symbol of his love for toy airplanes. Okay, so this kind of things can be used. This kind of children's and props can be used. This is very handy. You can use this kind of things also. This is very easy actually. So you can use a soft toy. This can focus on a child's dreams. This can represent that you need to focus on the child dreams, ambitions, or favorite toys. Maybe this toy is very favorite to that kid actually. And look at the height. These are almost the same height, and it looks like the two friends are sitting side by side. Okay, opposite to each other. So this creates a beautiful story into it. You can use butterflies also to symbolize freedom and creativity, because a butterfly represents freedom as it flies always. Birds do also represents, but butterfly is very important. It's a very beautiful thing. Okay, the butterfly are not visually appealing, but perfect for conceptual photographs, portraits. They represent freedom and creativity. They are also symbols of hope. of hope, the human soul, and resurrection. You can also use stock photos also. You can also use stock photos or PNGs of these butterflies. You will get a lot of things. You can put it into your photographs and compose it. Okay. We can also invest in realistic butterfly accessories, like this includes rings, necklace, hair clips to make your photo stand out even more. Okay. You can use some uh, toy like butterflies also. Okay. So here are some conceptual artists to follow. So before you move into this conceptual artist, I need to explain it to you how this conceptual photography actually it isn't tied to a specific subject matter actually. Rather, it is an idea driven photography. You begin with a story or a concept and use a camera and creative software to bring your vision to life. Conceptual photos are a type of fine art photography, remember. Okay. So, Abhishek, you want to say something?
No, sir. Sorry, sir.
Okay. Okay. No issue. So, conceptual photographies are a type of fine art photography, as we have said earlier, in which visual artists go beyond documentation to introduce an idea. Here, idea and concepts are the main things. To use digital tools, you can use digital tools. You can use anything to create that, and you need to capture it. In photography, you need to capture that frame. Okay. So while it is a category in itself, conceptual work may be different. It's a kind of photography genre also. So it's a different genre. You can also look into it, like fashion photo shoots, commercial photographies. You can use it there also. Conceptual photographs can be used there also. Okay. Now going to some of the, you need to know some of the conceptual artists to follow. So here I have put some of the conceptual artists. So you can go through the works of this artist and learn about conceptual art and conceptual photography much more. Chema Major, this Spanish artist is considered as an international leader in conceptual photography. He has been awarded the National Photography Prize and the Higawascoa Award, among others, and is shown in galleries and museums the world over. So here is some of the samples of his works. It's very important. Look at this. It's very so beautiful. It is. Okay, look at this. A stair within a stair. Okay, look at this. A tree has been formed through the use of these clouds. Okay, so this kind of images, look at this. The reflection is of a fork, whereas the spoon has been used here. Okay. This one is Jordi Laroche, is a Spanish photographer and a poet whose work combines slightly altered everyday objects that we use, everyday objects. Look at this image. This one is a paper plane only. Okay. This one is a glass goggle. Okay. This one is a book. This one is a top. This one is a record. Okay. So this one is a wooden chopping board or something else also. Okay. So to give a new meaning, so Laroche's photographs are divided into two series, black and white. So all the Jordi Laroche's photographs mainly comprises of this black and white categories. Okay, you can go through the works of this artist. Then there is Amy Stein. So Amy Stein is an American photographer. So some of her photographs include standard and domesticated. So here are some of the works of the standard and domesticated. Okay, so here in this website you will find Amy Stein. You will type it and you will get a website of Amy Stein, and there you will get this standard and domesticated, and that all the works are presented over there. Look at this. Here all are searching for the mobile tower. Look at this. We used to do it when there was mobile phone earlier, around means in 2005-6, when there was not so much of network power. Now we have too much network into it. Okay, but at that time it was this network issues played a very important role. Now we face network issues in internet, right? At that time that calling was also very, very tough for the network. Okay, so these things can be presented. This one is a Halloween costumes. Okay, this one is a woman with a gun. Okay, this one is a standard image. This one is also from the standard. Okay. David Levine is very, very famous, and his works, you will love to know, his all of his works actually consist of the dolls and toys, uses dolls and toys as models. Okay, so dolls and toys dramatically secular model he uses and use it in its photograph and story based. So So as I have also, when I took the class of you, that time I have told you, use the models, use the small means toy models actually. So this has been used by this Levitin and popularized this culture, this pop culture in American TV. Then there is Hedy Lander. So this American photographer started out writing about her experiences in photosession for fashion magazines. Behind the camera, Lander explores the condition of humanity. Self-portraiture is a frequent theme in her work. So these are the things that has been presented over here by the look at this. This one is a painting. This painted material and this live character has been superimposed over here. So this gives us a unique concept into it. Okay, so you must follow this artist. These are some of the renowned artists in that in the world of conceptual photography. Chema Meadows, Jordi Laro, Amy Stein, David Levinthal, and Hedy Lander. There are others also, so I have put around this 5 or 6 here. Conclusion is that conceptual photography is an important part of photography world. Anyone can use it to get out of their comfort zone. You need to express yourselves and contribute your story to the world. Take the time to create conceptual photos. You will learn how to come up with original ideas and improve your editing skills by practicing. You will also be more in touch with your emotions. Try to create some imaginative photos into it. Okay, so practice doing these things and you will learn a lot of things about this conceptual photography elements into it. Now how you will find this inspiration. Okay, so the idea is everything, as we have said. This is true of many forms of arts, but especially of conceptual art or conceptual photography. So some people definitely lack this technique, but if they have a vision, their work is interesting. So conceptual photographers, there are many conceptual photographers. I have shown it to you, some of them. So they created many surreal photos, self-portraits. Some people also focused on a lot of technique rather than the idea, maybe technically good. But what they are creating is something else, like traditional photography or traditional form of art. To come, so how to find the inspiration that you have into that photography, into that conceptual photography. You need to first learn it. You need to first learn about these things. You need to first observe it, not just photography. You can follow some of the conceptual artists also, conceptual arts also. You need to follow these things, because from the conceptual art, this photography art actually came. Conceptual photography is an integral part of this conceptual art form. Okay, so you can go to the galleries also. You can go whenever there is some painting exhibitions or something. You can go over there, or you can search it in the internet also. Okay, so go over there and experience art. But physically, if you can watch art, that is much more beneficial for you. Okay, you need to build your taste. You need to build your taste, artistic vision. You need to create it. Then you can show some of the things like conceptual photographs. You go through the conceptual photographs as we have shown, as I have shown you. So many examples have been seen. There are lots and lots of examples of this surreal, of this abstract forms of, or the social commentary kind of things. Conceptual artists will love to see it, and a piece of photograph is very, very interesting. Okay. So that's all. If you have any kind of query, you can ask. Any query?
Yes, student. If you have any queries, please ask Abhijit sir.
No query. Okay, very good. Okay, then we'll.
I think they don't have.
Okay, then.
Okay, Abhijit sir, thank you very much for the beautiful session. Hope all students will be benefited. Okay, and okay, students. In the coming days, we will conduct more sessions like this, and you please attend the session. And the thing we want to share with you, okay, there's information. Try to implement in your work, okay, in coming days. and all the best for your future. Okay, sir.